Are you designing your events with invisible disabilities in mind? We're chatting about the Americans with Disabilities Act and what food and beverage has to do with it, right after a quick message from our sponsor, Visit Los Cabos. You may have read her article in the August issue of The Meeting Professional, and now Tracy Stuckrath with Thrive Meetings and Events joins us to talk about how planners can consider both visible and invisible disabilities when designing their events. Tracy, first let's start off by defining invisible disabilities as referred to in the article.
So invisible disabilities are disabilities that can't be seen by the naked eye. And you typically think of disabilities of somebody in a wheelchair or somebody in a walker and things like that. Where invisible disabilities actually could be somebody who's hearing impaired. And with hearing aids becoming smaller and smaller, that's going to be a lot more common. Somebody who might have vision issues or challenges could be visually impaired. And then somebody who has food allergies or a medical condition that requires them to eat a specific way. Those are all invisible disabilities because you can look at a person and not see that they're actually disabled. And so when you're looking at designing events, you need to think about visually impaired. The number of different buffet labels that I see around the world blows my mind, and they're written in tiny, tiny fonts and you can't read them. Nobody with a regular, not even eyeglasses can read them. And even meal cards that you get. I've gotten them like, here, give this to your waiter, and it's written in 7-point font and no waiter's gonna read that in the dark. And then food allergies and dietary restrictions.
In today's age, there are many special dietary restrictions from disease or even religion, but then there's preference too. So what do you tell planners when they're trying to gather this data and design their menus?
Ask that question about food allergies in your question about ADA. So because eating was added as a major life activity to the Americans with Disabilities Act in 2008, so 10 years ago, it's a prime opportunity when you're asking your attendees, do you have any disabilities that we need to take into consideration for this event? Ask mobility, vision, hearing, and then say medical, special dietary restrictions there. And then be specific about it. Ask with check boxes instead of open-ended. And then after that question, ask, do you have any dietary preferences? Because food allergies and celiac disease and heart disease, those are all medical conditions that require someone to eat a specific way. So distinguishing between the two, and a lot of chefs would really prefer you to do that because otherwise they don't know if it's a preference or a need. And these are needs. It's a necessity for someone to eat that specific way. So getting ahead of the curve by asking that question in that way really can help guide you in how to design those menus.
Tracy, my favorite part of your article is when you remind all of us that the main goal of events is to provide a method of communing, networking, and building relationships. With all the minutiae that comes with planning, why is it important to keep this in mind?
So when you go into your grandmother's house and sit down for a meal, what does that make you feel? And that's what the meal function should do. And we don't give a lot of time to eat at meetings. You got to go from break to break and breakfast, and there's only 15 minutes. And attendees don't necessarily give themselves a lot of time to sit down and enjoy too. But how can you make that an experience in and of itself versus just ordering the plated meal and get them through in and out? You've got clients who don't care about the food functions. They just want them in and out. But you need to look at it as an opportunity to network and enjoy each other's company.
Very interesting discussion and great points made about how we can continue to design inclusive experiences for everyone. That does it for us on MPItv, sponsored by Visit Los Cabos. You can read the full article in the August issue of The Meeting Professional.